Hello, good afternoon. Today is August 21, Wednesday, 2024. I'm happy to meet you again, my friends, YouTubers, on my channel, The Life of Rizal. I share to you now Chapter 5 about the life of Rizal, his exile, trial, and death. The overview are as follows. Number 1, Rizal spent 4 years in Dapitan from 1882 to 1896. And his activities are as follows. He had his artistic and literary achievements, agricultural and civic projects, business, writings to his friends, and his affair to his beloved Josephine Bracken. Number 2, overview. This chapter talks about the charges against Rizal on sedition, rebellion, and conspiracy before a military court, and found him guilty of said 3 charges. Notably, this is a mistrial because as Rizal is a private individual, he was tried and convicted by a military court. His valid defenses were shelved or disregarded. Number 3, this chapter talks about Rizal's execution and his death on December 30, 1896 at Bagong Bayan, or now called Luneta. The summary of this chapter are as follows. Number 1, first, the return of Rizal to Calamba, his first return. Number 2, the founding of La Liga Filipina, which is a non-violent organization and organized for purposes of uniting the Filipinos. Then number 3, he established schools, repaired waterworks, and composed music in Dapitan. Number 4, he had a brief seaside romance with Josephine Bracken, who accompanied her foster father, for an eye surgery by Rizal. Josephine Bracken is an Irish woman who was given a son by Rizal named Francisco, but died 3 hours after birth. Number 5, this chapter talks about the revolution of Andres Bonifacio, known as the Katipunan, Galang-galangan, Anak ng Bayan. Kataas-taasang Anak ng Bayan. Number 6, this chapter talks about the writing of Ultimo Adios at Fort Santiago. Number 7, the visit by Sister Sibling on Rizal that entered the cell one by one. Then the firing squad shouting Fuego. Rizal's request that he be shot fronting the firing squad was not granted. And Rizal's remains brought to San Juan de Dios Hospital for verification of his death, and Rizal's burial at Paco Cemetery, which was hidden by the Spaniards. What are the following objectives or cognitive knowledge about this chapter? I'll give you a list of 30 items for us to remember, because this is very important for knowing this chapter. Number 1, June 26, 1892. This is the date of Rizal's first return, or rather second return to Calamba with his sister Lucia. Number 2, Governor General Eulogio Despujol, the Spanish Governor General that sought audience with Rizal at Malacañang in the afternoon of June 26, 1892, to question Rizal about his 2 novels. Next is La Liga Filipina, organized by Rizal, which is a non-violent organization, the purpose of which was only to unite the Filipino people for purposes of economic development, to promote high standard of manhood, establish opportunities in education and development of the Filipino youth. Next, number 3, Doroteo Onghunco. He's a Filipino-Chinese mestizo that accompanied Rizal, or rather accommodated Rizal, and Rizal's compatriot to a meeting in the house of said Doroteo at Ilaya, Tondo, Manila. Number 4, the goals of the La Liga Filipina are as follows. 1. Consolidate the archipelago into one compact unit. 2. Mutual protection of Filipinos at all times. Next, defense against all forces of violence. Number 4, encouragement of education, agriculture, and commerce. And next is research and implementation of reforms. Number 5, Unos Instar Omnium. This is a motto of the La Liga Filipina, which means one like all. And the Liga Filipina is composed of the following. The Supreme Council, it's the governing body of La Liga Filipina. There was also the so-called Provincial and Popular Council that has jurisdiction on the provinces and towns respectively. 7. What are the responsibilities of the members of the Liga Filipina? Number 1, to obey the orders of the Supreme Council. Number 2, to assist in the recruitment of its members. 3, to keep confidential the decision of the Supreme Council. Number 4, to adopt a symbolic name that cannot be changed until one is replaced. Next is the North Borneo project of Rizal, a would-be project of Rizal that did not come true because it was disapproved by the then Governor General Despojol, saying that there are so many lands in the Philippines that need Filipino labor and no need to go outside of the country. Number 9, Pobres Frailes. These are pamphlets, leaflets, or handbills said to be secretly hidden to Rizal's possession, and same was used by the Spaniards as evidence to Rizal's prosecution. 10. Dapitan, Zamboanga del Norte. We talk about the exile of Rizal in Dapitan. It is not in Manila, but rather in Zamboanga del Norte, which is the exact place of Rizal's exile from this date of arrest, the date of his arrest on July 7, 1892, and stayed in Dapitan up to 1896. The Dapitan Waterworks System. It is a project designed and built by Rizal for the people of Dapitan to have clean and potable water. Father Francisco de Paula Sanchez. He is Rizal's Jesuit teacher in Ateneo that paid him a visit during Rizal's exile in Dapitan. Draco Rizali is a scientific name given to a flying dragon derived from Rizal's name, together with Apogonia Rizali, also a name given to Rizal's, referring to a small beetle. Rhacoporus Rizali, scientific name given referring to a small rare frog derived from the name of Rizal. What are the poems written by Rizal in Dapitan? Number 1, Himno al Talisay. 2, Mi Retiro. 3, El Canto del Viajero. How big was the land purchased by Rizal in Dapitan? The size is 70 hectares of vacant lot for purposes of building his house, school, and hospital, to plant fruit trees like corn, coffee, cacao, sugarcane, and hemp. Who is Ramon Carrion? He is a merchant in Dapitan that established the Cooperative Association of Dapitan for Farmers in order to break the Chinese monopoly. Sulpukan. It is a wooden cigarette lighter worked on the principle of compressed air, invented by Rizal and given as a gift to Blumentritt. What is the exact date when the KKK of Andres Bonifacio organized? It was on July 7, 1892. 19. Dr. Pio Valenzuela. He is an emissary sent by Bonifacio to Rizal in Dapitan in order to tell Rizal about the impending revolution by the Filipinos against the Spaniards. But Rizal negated the invitation or the plan of Andres Bonifacio to raise up arms because according to Rizal, the Filipino behind this movement, they are not yet ready for lack of arms. Cuba, where there was a presence of yellow fever, wherein the friend of Rizal, Blumentritt, suggested that he volunteered as a doctor in order to end the exile of Rizal in Dapitan. The place is Cuba. Governor General Ramon Blanco informed Rizal on the approval for him to volunteer to Cuba in his letter dated July 30, 1896. But unfortunately, the fact is Rizal was just misled. When he was about to go to Cuba, he was directed to go back to Manila to face trial. August 26, 1896 is the date of the Cry of Balintawak, when the KKK of Andres Bonifacio attacked San Juan, and Governor General Ramon Blanco of the Philippines declared state of war in Manila, Bulacan, Cavite, Batangas, Laguna, Pampanga, Nueva Vizcaya, and Tarlac. Steamship Colon, the name of the ship that brought back Rizal to Manila instead of going to Cuba. Colonel Olive is the Spanish colonel that transmitted the records of documentary evidences against Rizal in order to begin the legal action against him. And the legal action on Rizal is started on November 20, 1896. Number 25. Don Luis Tabiel de Andrade is a defense lawyer chosen by Rizal among the list that attracted the name de Andrade because of his friend, the brother of said Antonio Luis Tabiel de Andrade. 26. Governor General Camilo de Polavieja was the Spanish Governor General of the Philippines during Rizal's trial and execution. The judge advocate of Rizal's trial was General Nicolas de la Peña, that confirmed the death sentence of Rizal by firing squad. December 28, 1896, the date of the letter of Rizal's mother appealing for the execution or for the clemency of Rizal's life. Trinidad is the sister of Rizal, to whom the ultimo adios was given, that's hidden in the alcoholic cooking gas and translated into English by Charles E. Derbyshire. And lastly, Imitation de Cristo, a small book given by Rizal to his wife, Josephine Bracken. That ends our dialogue and discussion of Chapter 5 about the life of Rizal, his exile in Dapitan, trial, and execution. This is retired Professor Ruben B. Parungao Jr. from the University of Perpetual Help System, Dalta, Las Piñas. I am pleased to give you my contact number, 0917-168-3735. Again, 0917-168-3735. To correct the previous number I have given, which was just wrongly stated. Now it is 0917-168-3735. Thank you for viewing, listening, and I pray that we acquire the necessary knowledge on Chapter 5 about our national hero, Dr. Jose Rizal. Thank you very much, and God bless us all.